What is going on, everybody? How you doing? Welcome to another episode of Talking Buffalo, your weekday daily driver for Buffalo Sports Talk and more. My name is Patrick Moran. Thank you so much for watching, for listening, however you are consuming this podcast. Appreciate you guys very much. Big shout out to our sponsor for today's show, the law offices of William Mattar. Heard in a car, call William Mattar, 444-4444. Call William Mattar today to get the compensation that you deserve. This is our Monday podcast. On the video side, we are live here relatively late on a Sunday night. The Buffalo Bills close out the 2025 regular season. Perhaps last game ever at Highmark Stadium. Convincing fashion over what I think was a disinterested New York Jets. Bills win this game 35-8. They go on next week now, wild card weekend. We know where the Bills are going to be. We don't know quite when as we're recording this, but Buffalo is going to Jacksonville. Jacksonville, the hottest team right now in the NFL. They've won 8 in a row. The Bills finished the regular season at 12-5. Like I said, they closed out in fun fashion at Highmark Stadium. If you're a Bills fan, you're at the game or you're just watching the game, it was a fun finale. Fun fact, as Joe cracks a beer there, you can hear that on the audio side. Bills finished 247-163 all time at Highmark Stadium. You heard the beer crack in the background. Joe from Queens is with me live, man. What's going on, dude? How you doing?
I'm all right, man. Let's, to the Ralph, or what name would you give it? Would you say Rich Stadium, the Ralph, Highmark?
We're old enough for it to be
Rich
Stadium. But I don't know. I've always been kind of partial to the Ralph.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
about the same. Oh, I have an other half, double dry hopped IPA. It's called Hot and Fresh Donuts. I don't know why it's called that, but it is 7.5% alcohol.
Nice.
So that's it. Anyways.
So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to spend a little time talking about this game. I mean, there's not a lot to talk about in terms of the game itself. Some ramifications, though, good and bad, I feel like, to come out of this game potentially. So we'll talk a little bit about this game. We'll start to talk a little bit about the Jags. I'd like to spend a little bit of time. We talked about this on our live show last Thursday, but some kind of follow-up thoughts on Highmark Stadium. And we're not going to go through our memories again. We did that in our last episode. But there's some loose ends to tie up, I think, with the conversation. It was a pretty polarizing topic, no matter which way you looked at it, with the stadium closing here this weekend. So we'll get to all that throughout the show. You know, I got to tell you this. All I can think about during this game, and I'm just because I'm a stat guy, I think, is the way the Jets play defense. Again, I just felt like this was a team that, I mean, they're really bad as it is, but they were disinterested. They looked like a disinterested football team, especially on defense. It was pretty pathetic, actually. I mean, the Bills had pretty much their all backups. Anyway, all I kept thinking about during this game was if the Bills needed this game, like if they had something to play for, whether it was a 1 seed or a division title or even just playoff position, if they were playing to ensure a victory, what kind of stats Josh Allen and James Cook could have had in this game? Because Mitch Trubisky looked great. Dude for 259 yards and 4 touchdowns. And I mean, God, some guys couldn't be more wide open. Ray Davis, 151 yards rushing. He was brilliant in this game. And I kept thinking, man, imagine if this was Josh and putting up those numbers. Or I think if James Cook would have came into this game needing 250 yards rushing, and if the Bills had something to play for, I honestly think James Cook could have had 250 yards rushing against this Jets team today, man. It was just, I don't know. I don't know if I enjoyed it more from just watching the Bills win or just kind of laughing at how bad the Jets are and just what a horrible organization.
You know, one of your takes you always have on Twitter is that the Sabres and the Jets are the two most pathetic franchises in sports.
Yes.
I think we could maybe put like the Sabres number 2 and then the Jets 1, right? Like after like today, because it's just the Jets didn't give a shit. They were just out of it. I don't know. I don't even know how you could. They and they should probably get more shit from Bills fans a little bit, like on social media. Like, I feel like Bills fans are always feuding with Dolphins fans a lot, or Patriots fans. They should be feuding more with Jets fans, because Jets fans are obnoxious. I know them. I've lived around them, but that they're a dumpster fire. And yeah, you're right. If they were playing for something, who knows how much? How sleek were those uniforms, by the way?
I'm not a uniform guy. I want to make that really clear. Yes. Like when they have like the winter rivalry uniform, like whatever, they're wearing blue on blue, blue on white, white on blue, all that stuff, whatever. The all reds, I really don't care for that much. But usually I'm like, whatever. These uniforms today, I loved them. They were that was perfection. I tell you what, I said this, I was joking, but I can watch those every week. Man, like the Bills, I feel like the Bills would have beat the 85 Bears if they were wearing those uniforms. That's how dope those uniforms were. Did you like them? I thought they were sick.
Yeah,
I thought they were perfect.
They were sick. I mean, even during the week when you were seeing practice and looking at the helmets, it was like, ooh, like it's just shiny. Like, look, the Stanley Buffalo is cool, but it is like, I don't want to say boring. It's just there, kind of in a way, where this one just pops and you're like, whoa. Like, you're just looking, double take, like, anytime you saw it. And maybe it's just like I'm used to. I've seen the Stanley Buffalo for 15 years now, and I've only seen that red helmet. Gosh, I've seen the red helmet I saw as a fan. I know it's been longer, but, like, as a fan, I started watching them in 89. And then, like, they changed their jersey in 02, so that's, like, 13 years there. They still had the red helmet until, I think, 2010. So it's been a while, and I wonder, I would not be shocked if they change their uniforms next year, maybe. And maybe they go to that. Maybe the helmet, I don't know, because I feel like you're going to a new stadium and that's what a lot of teams do. You know, when they go to a new stadium, they change the look. And like the Bills, I'm honestly shocked they haven't done that, because I would have thought, like, by now, like, they're so popular, you've already sold this. How many more? No one's buying more jerseys. I mean, people are, but like, it's not like, if you have an Allen jersey, you're done. You've had an Allen jersey since 2018. If you're like a diehard, now you get a new one, then you're like, okay, let me get a different jersey now, and all that sort of stuff. So, but yeah, they were great. Like, I would love them to go back to them next year or something like that. That would be great.
I want to real quick one more thing I got to say about the Jets, because and by the way, a very, very active live chat for people listening. You don't know what the hell I'm talking about. If you're watching the video, though, there's a lot of people in the chat. I love it. A lot of our loyal listeners and watchers, regulars, are in there talking it up. I'm trying to get some on the screen. Some comments, of course, I'll read and get to at various parts of the show as well. But keep that up, man. I love to see that on the live side of videos. Good to see all you guys. One more thought about the Jets, and I said this during the game. Aaron Glenn, I don't know if he's going to keep his job. I think he's going to, but I don't know if you've noticed. I don't know, Joe, if you watch this entire game. It's tough to really get you to watch a game that doesn't really mean a lot. Like, this had a lot of preseason vibes to it. So if you didn't watch all 4 quarters, every play, I wouldn't blame you. I'm sure a lot of people actually didn't. But every time the camera would pan to CBS, or CBS would pan to Glenn on the sidelines, he just looked fucking miserable. And all I kept thinking to myself was, how are players supposed to play with enthusiasm and energy and want to run through a wall to try to win a football game when the coach just looks absolutely, positively miserable all of the time? Did you notice that during the game at all?
Yeah, he looked miserable. I mean, it's been that way for a while, for this entire year. The Jets have been terrible all year. There's been nothing like to look forward to for them, and I don't want to say I feel bad for Jets fans, because I don't really like a lot of them. But in general, yeah, Aaron Glenn looks like he doesn't know, like, he's in over his head a little bit, and looks like they all looked like they gave up. That was it. And he looked like he aged a lot, and it is what it is with the Jets. I mean, they're just dog shit. So that's
they really are, bro. And I got to tell you too, I feel foolish now, because all day long, so I get up on Sunday. By the way, it was a no hangover Sunday. Shout out to me for keeping it to pints of beer only on Saturday night. But anyway, I get up and I immediately start thinking about the scenarios. Is it going to be Jacksonville? Is it going to be New England? This and that. And the Houston game, I'm kind of watching it semi-intently. And all along, if the Bills lose, they're going to be the 7. And I convinced myself that if the Bills couldn't be the 5, and if I didn't know Baltimore was going to lose to Pittsburgh, which, by the way, we're recording this, Baltimore's up 10-3 right now, about halfway through the second quarter, and the game doesn't matter as far as the Bills go anymore. But anyway, I convinced myself. I said this on Facebook. I was like, JETS, yes. I told myself before the game, I'm good with the Bills losing this game. I was being honest, and at the time I said, I think I'd rather go to Foxborough. That was where I arrived at the end of the day. If the options were Baltimore, Jacksonville, or New England, I said, I'd rather go to New England. That was my first choice. And about 4 minutes into this game, I started laughing at myself. Like, what fucking planet was I on, or anyone else on, that thought that the Bills possibly could lose this game, even without Josh Allen and Shakir and Dawkins and Cook and Groot and Bosa and Milano and Shaq Thompson and Benford and all these guys? There was no way in hell that the New York Jets were going to win this football game. And by the way, they ended up with the second overall pick, I believe, in the draft. But I'm laughing at myself. I'm like, what was I thinking, spending energy thinking that, hey, maybe the Bills could lose this game and they could be the 7th seed? That was never going to happen. The Jets were never coming in to Highmark Stadium, or anywhere for that matter, and beating the Bills. It was just, I just can't get over what a pathetic performance I saw on the other side of the football field. There's just no resistance at all.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I don't know what else. Yeah, they're like,
there's not much more to say about the Jets. I'm laughing at myself. But listen, there's a lot of good, fun stuff. I don't want to say good necessarily, but fun stuff to come from this game. I'll at least hit on a little bit of it. But to me, the biggest news is not good news for the Bills. The biggest takeaway from this game should be, if it's not already, the kicker. Matt Prater injured his quad again. That does not bode well for him. Sean McDermott, after the game, said he didn't really have information, but he's not coming back. He's not going to be back next week. The Bills got a kicker problem now, again, and it's obviously the wrong time to have a kicker problem, but they're going to have to go out this week. Brandon Beane's probably on the phone literally right now. He better damn well be. I don't know what he's going to do, though. Like, who are you going to get? I don't know any. They worked. Michael Badgley was a disaster, between Cleveland and then the next week they worked out 3 kickers and they didn't sign anyone. They still had Badgley kick against Philly, and that cost them. And then he got cut from the practice squad on Monday. Did they bring Michael Badgley back? I hear a lot of people talking about Tucker, who not only has gotten in trouble, but he just wasn't that good of a kicker last year near the end of his run with Baltimore. I don't know what the hell they're going to do, but
you said they
worrisome, man.
You said that they said that Prater's out next week.
I didn't know that.
Okay,
Sean McDermott didn't say that, but the fact that he didn't finish the game, Sean McDermott, I think the only terminology he uses, what happened was unfortunate. This game, he didn't really have an update, is what I'm telling you. He didn't say, well, hopefully it'll be day to day or anything like that. It was kind of like no update, but what happened was unfortunate. Man, I don't know how you get through the playoffs without a kicker. I mean, a kicker that you can rely on, a kicker that you can trust. It's a problem. The Bills have lost 5 games this season, Joe. 2 of those 5 losses were directly impacted because of a missed extra point. The Houston game and the Philly game just last week. This is a big problem. I was thinking about 20 guys on this team staying healthy, not getting hurt. And it turns out that the freaking kicker gets hurt again. That's not good.
No, I mean, it's not at all. And it's been an issue all year, and I'm not sure who they could call either. But, it's something that, like, kickers, there's kickers out there. Like, teams bring in kickers all the time. Like, they cut someone, they bring a guy in, and they're fine. For whatever reason, it just hasn't been great.
Steve Christie.
Yeah, we could go through Brian Lundell, Shane Graham, Steve Hauschka. What's he's doing? Like, house money. Let's bring him back into the fold. It's a big issue. I mean, I guess you can go for 2 all the time. And I'll say this: I think there's room for criticism. Why was Prater playing today? Like, why? Because here's the thing: a couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
One, Tyler Bass, if you remember, how he got hurt. He was out for most of training camp. They had him play in this preseason finale, made a couple field goals. One of them, if I remember correctly, looked choppy, and then he's on IR and he's dead. And it's like, well, geez, maybe you shouldn't have played him on that preseason game to see he needed another extra week or something like that. Prater, why are you playing him this week? There's no reason for it. Like, why? Like, he's coming off a couple of the quad thing. You could have kept bagel guy or whatever the hell his name is and be like, whatever, like, you're going to play this week. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Like, what was the reason to play him? There was no reason to. It's stupid. It was
I
dumb.
agree.
Especially you're dealing with yeah, well, I don't know what the percentage you don't agree with me.
Maybe you need to see if he can kick.
You kick, that's called practice. Okay.
And he's 41. So if you don't know when he's 41 years old.
Yeah, he's 41. Like, there's no point to doing that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is the second time that I could question, like, why are you rushing this kicker back where they come into a game, they kick, and then they get hurt, after an injury. That happened with Bass, happened there. It doesn't make any sense. That's on them. And let's see what happens. I don't know who they're going to call. Let's hope it doesn't come down to a field goal kicker. I mean, the Jags kicker is God right now. He kicked a 67-yarder today. Yeah. So,
it sucks that Bass is out for the year. It really does.
I mean, he was, even though he was a head case last year, but sure.
Remember back in the drought days, or even beyond that, I guess, where maybe really young fans they don't remember the term Billsy all that much, where it'd be like the most Billsiest thing ever. Well, the Bills having a playoff run or a season derailed primarily because their two kickers got hurt. That would be very old school Billsy in that regard. Let me read a tweet. All right, so I don't know if you know who he is on Twitter, Thigh Doctor.
Yes,
he's a medical dude, weirdo man, likes to.
He's a weirdo. Okay.
Muscles. No, you ever see him flexing his thigh? He's the Thigh Doctor.
No,
I don't know if that's him or whatever. But anyway, he's an injury guy, and he's very smart when it comes to diagnosing injuries and talking about them. This is what he said after the game, and it sounds kind of like up the alley of what you said, but he said, it comes no surprise here that Prater tweaked his quad. He's 41 and playing on 3 weeks rest. I figured 4 weeks minimum. Maybe the team wanted to see if he could get through a game. Better this week than next week, but that's a wrap for the year for him. So he's predicting that he's done. Sean McDermott, the official thing was what he said is he didn't really have an update, and hopefully he'll have some news on Monday. That's the only word, but he's probably done. So they're going to need a new kicker. Trying to see if he can get through a game. Yeah, I'm with you, man, Joe, on that. I mean,
what you would just find out on Monday. Like, what's the difference between kicking off in a game versus like at a practice? You're kicking. That's it. Like, you're not getting tackled. I don't know.
If you want to be a glass half full kind of guy, though, the only positive I will say is if this had to happen, it's good that it happened today. To the point of that tweet, it's good that it happened today and not, in the second quarter of the Jacksonville
Sure, if it happened
game.
last week, I guess, but it's still, I don't know.
I don't know. And listen,
it's all one of those things where, you know what, maybe, look, Prater's been fine this year. Like, I don't think he's been like, oh my God, he's amazing. Thank God for him. But it's like, this is what happens when you get a 40-year-old kicker instead of like, maybe you needed to get like a younger guy who wasn't going to have quad injuries and all this sort of shit. I don't know.
I'm seeing a lot of Justin Tucker, whether it's here in our live chat, I'm good. Friends talking about it.
I'm good with the rub and tug guy. No, I'm good.
I want to win a playoff game. I'll tell you right now, I don't know if he can kick anymore. Put it this way.
Yeah. He wasn't good last year.
When a player who's a name, whether it's because he did something stupid off the field or he's just washed up and not good anymore. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about any player. If there's more to the story, you hear names all year long. Like, why has no one signed him? Like Christian Wilkins, a very talented defensive tackle. He got cut by the Raiders in July, and nobody even kicked the tires on him all season long. That's because there's a reason for it. Simmons, the safety, one of the best safeties in the last 10, 15 years at least. But everyone's like, well, go sign Simmons. Well, nobody did all season long. There's a reason for it. If Justin Tucker is not signed by anybody right now, there's a reason for it, probably beyond anything off the field too, just as well. Like, but I want to win. I want to win a football game. If somebody can make a kick, bring him in and let him make a kick. What a Hollywood story that would be, though, Joe. Again, let's play a little glass half full. Let's keep that shit going. Let's keep the good vibes going. What is if a no name comes in off the street and kicks a game-winning field goal in a playoff game, and the Bills get to their first Super Bowl since the '90s?
Like that,
pretty wild.
Like Tony Danza in that one movie, or wasn't Tony Danza in some terrible movie as a kicker, and like he was a garbage man. He was like a garbage man or something. Yeah, he was like it was a terrible. Like he was a garbage man, and he made a kick for the Eagles or something. I could be wrong. Someone in there. Anyways.
Only
What's
an out
wrong
of
with
line
liking
chat.
some
What's wrong with liking some stretch relief?
Oh, Jesus.
There, come on, Tooch. All right, so that's one injury, and I agree with you. It's like he's 41 years old. Why not just give him that extra week? Honestly, I think Sean McDermott wanted to punt Michael Badgley to the fucking moon after last Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, that could have been.
As soon as he heard that Prater was going to be all right, he like Monday morning. They didn't wait till Wednesday. He was on the practice squad. They could have waited a day or two. They got rid of Michael Badgley's ass Monday morning. That felt like that was a message there. But yeah, I'm with you. I don't understand why Prater, you just didn't give him another week. As long as if he gets healthier, you know that he's going to be fine. And again, I wish I knew kickers. I don't, so I don't even know. I know the Bills worked out 3 a couple weeks ago. I never heard of him. What are you laughing at?
No, Tooch, bringing Kathy Ireland from Necessary Roughness. Yes, Tooch. Great callback.
Hey,
Jim Kelly was in that movie.
Bring Sinbad too, man. Fucking Matthew Judon did nothing out there defensive end. Maybe Sinbad could give them a couple good reps.
Yeah, and Manu the Slender can play center if someone gets hurt or whatever.
Total random.
Oh, Featherstone would be great. I mean, he can stretch the field, that guy. Just he can't make catches. Anyways, yes, go ahead.
Dan's, it wasn't something that was terrible. No way. Yeah, I guess apparently it was. I said Matthew Judon. Real quick, random thought, by the way. I kind of locked in on him when he was out there. I don't think you're going to see him out there again. I said it before the game, too. That Andrew Jones Jr., number 75, I thought he had a couple of pretty decent games with the Bills the last few weeks. If they're going to elevate an end for the playoffs, I'd be willing to bet it's going to be him and not Matthew Judon. I just don't think he has any juice left I don't think he has anything left to give. So I kind of noticed that during the game. I think he's one and done with Buffalo. Anyway, Max Prater injury, I'm with you there. The other one, Max Hairston, this obviously really sucks, and I'm concerned about it too. Pretty late fourth quarter, ankle injury. Was in a walking boot, reports were saying after the game. Not good. Don't know if it's going to be long-term, but certainly doesn't sound like, doesn't have the sound of somebody who's going to be able to play in 6 or 7 days from now. So that is obviously very concerning. Now, while I'm with you on the Prater thing, a lot of people are mad at Sean McDermott or like, why was he on the field? I don't agree with, because here's the problem. It's not preseason, Joe. They only have a certain amount of active guys. Benford and Trey White are your starters. And then you have Max Hairston, and then you had Cam Lewis, who's playing a little bit of outside corner as well. Those are your third and fourth corners. You only have 4 corners for the game, so one of them had to be out there. Trey White's been, not only has he been fantastic, he's your starter. Max Hairston's been the guy who rotates a little bit here and there. So he had to be out there. There wasn't really any other way to play Keon Coleman at corner. I mean, I would have, you would have known this was going to happen, but I can't be, listen, a lot of people like to just complain about Sean McDermott with everything and anything, but you tell me not why, but Max Hairston had to be on the field because they just didn't have enough fucking bodies. Yeah. That's what it comes down to, man. Sucks that he got hurt, though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, what they could have done differently. I mean, I would have sat Trey White and then maybe brought in another quarterback in to
Let me pull up a comment right away here, because, again, people, I understand, and I'm not being confrontational with anybody, but I'm going to stand my ground on my take. Johnny Utah 2121 says, that's not true, Pat. Lewis and Hancock could have been at cornerback. That's BS. Well, Hancock was playing safety because Hancock and Savage were playing safety because they did not want to risk Cole Bishop being out there. So if Hancock goes to corner, that means Cole Bishop would have had to be out there with Savage. So I don't know, man. And plus, Hancock has not played a snap of boundary corner literally all season long. Cam Lewis.
Well, who cares if he hasn't? You can put some. I don't know. Whatever. It is what it is. It's like you're right. You can't. He's their third, fourth string guy. I don't know. It sucks, but.
It does. Well,
is there anything like? Can I ask you this real quick? Is there a part of you that's like, how many games this weekend were bullshit? Like preseason, we're resting our guys.
Almost all of them. Almost all of them.
Is there anything that could be done about that? Like, can the NFL like?
I don't know.
Or does anyone even care? Like, does anyone care? Like in terms of like. Because how like I'm thinking about like in the NBA, like there's load management, right? And there are people who hate that. Like it gets talked about, blah, blah, blah. Like, are we going to go down that road a little bit where week 17 or 18, whatever the fuck number that we're at?
18.
18. Is that going to be like something where like they're not happy that teams are resting this many guys? So I don't know. It's just something to like to consider because it's just like, and maybe like, hey, like if it was weeks, if they had one less game, it would be the same. I don't know if it's, in terms of like we're resting guys. It just feels like there are way more teams nowadays that rest their guys than it was in the 90s. Like I know the Bills did, but like that's what happens when like there isn't an incentive to get like that. You know what? There's a part of me that thinks like maybe if you wanted to eliminate that just for shits and giggles sake, it's like you give the bye week, but you get the bye week for the second team back, and that way teams want to play for that bye week. You know what I mean? Because it used to be the two best records in each conference got the byes. Now it's just one. Maybe that's something to think about. I don't know. It's just weird that all the games this week were all like backups. You know what I mean?
I do. And to answer a couple not complaints, but comments in the live chat. And again, I want to be respectful to the people who are listening to the show. I don't want to make this all about the video, but a couple people have pointed that Sam Franklin, who's a special teams guy, apparently he was out there playing some DB late in the game. If he was, I didn't see it. Now, to be fair, I wasn't completely locked in on that. Saw a couple other things. Again, I would have to look at the snap counts. We're doing a live show not too long after the game. I'll also say this, though. I think there were a couple players that Sean McDermott wanted to see more from and get ready for potentially the playoffs. One of them I'm going to get to here in just a second. But let me circle back to what you were just saying real quick, because it is interesting. I mean, it's not really on topic of what we're talking about here in this game, but just a boring Week 18. There's so few games that mean something to both teams. Saturday night definitely did, but going through these games right now. So Indy played Houston. That meant nothing to Indy. Dallas Giants meant nothing to either team. Cleveland Cincy meant nothing to either team in terms of the standings. Green Bay, Minnesota, nothing, because Green Bay was already locked in. Jacksonville, Tennessee, meant nothing to Tennessee. Rams, Arizona, really didn't mean anything. Denver, Chargers, didn't mean nothing to the Chargers. Raiders, Chiefs, no, nothing. Miami, New England, meant nothing to Miami. Washington, Philly, meant nothing to Washington. Detroit, Chicago, meant nothing to Detroit. So I do get it, man. It sucks, but it's just the way it is. It's just the way it goes. Anyway, going back to the Max Harrison thing, let me tell you what concerns me about that injury. And again, we could blame Sean McDermott for it, or you cannot. I personally, I don't. If you want to disagree with me, that's fine. I respect your opinion. But here's what scares me. The last couple of years in the playoffs, the Bills have gotten fucked at cornerback because of injuries. You remember last year, Benford got hurt in the first quarter with the concussion. He came back. He got another concussion in the first quarter. What happened the rest of the day in Arrowhead? Kyrie Elam was out there, and he just got destroyed. Christian Benford got hurt the year before that, too, as well. So the Bills have been thinned out at corner in the playoffs, and they've had injuries there, and it's really hurt them in the playoffs. So he's not a starter anyway. Christian Benford's their CB1, and he will be spending a lot of time on probably Jacoby Myers in this game. Trey White is your CB2. Max Harrison was rotating some. Maybe he does in the playoffs as well. But Trey White has been really, really good now for like 6 to 8 weeks minimum. That's solid. But now, if Max Harrison can't go, this is where it could get really sketchy, because you are one play away from Dane Jackson's season at corner. He's almost unplayable to me. In fact, I call him unplayable. I don't remember. I think it might have been the New England game earlier in the season. I don't remember. Houston, I don't got no freaking idea. But Dane Jackson's pretty much unplayable. So
yeah, I mean it's and also like the Jags are a fast team. Like in terms of the wide receivers, I feel have a little bit of, they got some wheels on them, and Harrison is your speedster out there, who can keep up. Remember that Chiefs game where he kept up with Worthy. And that's what makes him different from a couple of the other corners they have, in my opinion.
Let me ask you a question. So Max Harrison gets hurt. Maybe it's Sean's fault. Maybe it's not. Prater gets hurt. He shouldn't have been out there. These are important players. They're not like, oh, my God, we can't win without this guy type players. Brings me to a conversation, because a lot of people are going to be talking about this for the next few days. Really wanted James Cook to win the rushing title. Jonathan Taylor didn't even get to where he was at before the game. James Cook only had 2 carries, and then he was out. Derrick Henry came into the game needing 153 yards to win the rushing crown. Derrick Henry, with 4 minutes left as we're streaming live, has 112 rushing yards already in this game. So he is literally, 41 yards away from winning the rushing title, and they're not even at the half. So he's probably going to win. James Cook is going to lose the rushing title because he didn't play enough. But is it the right call to have him 2 carries and get him out of there.
Yes.
No, there's going to be a lot of people who don't agree with that.
Who's a lot of people? Who's a lot of people?
I'm telling you, there's a lot of people out there. I've already seen it.
Who? Tone? Tooch? Is anyone in the chat? Is there any people in the chat right now who agrees with that? Please say Cook should have played or not in the chat. Come on, dude. Give me a break. No, he shouldn't. They needed to rest. We're good. Okay. Steve Steve in the chat wanted him to play 1 half. Steve, come on, man. 1 half.
You can't. Can you imagine? All right, so he's getting heat for their backup corner, who's not a starter, getting hurt in the 4th quarter. Can you imagine the heat that Sean McDermott would take if something happened to James Cook, say, on the 3rd drive of the game? He's already got 42 rushing yards on the first 2 series or whatever, and then he gets hurt, and it looks like he's in a walking boot after the game. Can you imagine what the reaction would be?
I'll always say this. Thurman Thomas, I talked about this in the last podcast. In 90, he almost won the Washington. He lost by 5 yards. He had like 2 carries for 0 yards against Washington. And he didn't care that he didn't win the Washington title. It's like, yeah, whatever. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, yeah, it would have been cool, but no, you're not playing like. And this is why this is why I'm saying like you need to maybe have another incentive, like give the second team a bye somehow. And I don't know how you would do it with the numbers. Maybe too many teams make it in the playoffs. I don't know. Maybe have like the next best team go hitter. I have no idea. But like all I'm saying is this is what you do. Like. They're a better team. Like the Ravens are playing for their life. What's Cook going to say?
Yeah. Well, and Scott Bills, 1990, said Cook said he wanted to play and get it. Well, of course he did.
When did he say that? When did he say that?
In the live chat. Yeah. Josh Allen probably wanted to get his 40th touchdown and keep his NFL record streak going. You got to save the coaches' jobs to save players against themselves. You got to put the team first. And there was no benefit to James Cook playing. I'm actually surprised he even took a snap, to be honest with you, especially because Taylor didn't get the record. I'm thinking maybe he'd say, well, hey, if you get 10, 15 more yards and make it a little bit tougher for him, I have no idea. Maybe he was just giving him 2 carries to try to bust a long one for a touchdown or something. But anyway, whatever. It's going to be what it's going to be. And we're late in the 2nd quarter. Baltimore's up 10-3, which if the score stays that way, and who knows when people listen to this on Monday, but I'll be happy with the way things turn out for the Bills. Let's get to a couple of fun takeaways with the team. And I'm going to tell you a low-key one. You want to talk about guys who I know they should be out there, but they played more than I thought, but I liked it? Dalton Kincaid, 3 catches for 45 yards. He played roughly a quarter. That was clearly Sean McDermott saying, I need to see what I got with this guy. It didn't mean nothing. I did not expect him to play at all. And he played, and he looked good. 3 catches for 45 yards, and Gabe Davis hit him a nice afternoon. 5 catches for 41 yards and a touchdown. He had 2 really nice catches, too, as well. But I kind of feel like even though they were playing mostly backups, Sean needed to see, or Joe Brady wanted to see some things from some guys. And those are 2 guys who delivered in this game.
You want me to say something about the Jets?
I can tell. Joe's in. Joe,
no,
this is.
I mean, like, I don't know why we're
training camp.
Why are we talking? Can we move to the Jags game, or can we do your break and go to the Jags game now, please, or whatever you have?
Well, there's a couple things from this game that I think matter. God. I think it matters. Dalton Kincaid being healthy.
Oh, here we go.
His numbers don't matter. Dalton Kincaid looking good running routes and catching a couple balls matters because he hasn't been that way in several weeks.
Yes.
Gabe Davis looked useful. Matters. TJ Sanders, I thought, played well on defense. He had his first sack of his career.
Should be starting next week. Definitely starting.
He might start next week if Daquan Jones can't play. See? You're getting it. Now you're getting that.
No, whatever, man. Okay, fine. Great.
You know what was cool for real, though? I knew. I was like, I was thinking in my mind, I should probably do solo for Bills Jets and then bring you in when they got to the Jaguars part.
What do you want me to say? This is great. Yes, they had. I'm glad Kincaid played. He got 3 catches. Great. If he got hurt, I would have been fucking livid. How livid would you have been if Kincaid got hurt? But yeah,
it's not August though. That's the problem. You have to play.
What about
everybody could sit?
Let's talk about your boy Palmer. How did he do today? Did he do
terrible.
Anything? Oh, that's your boy. Remember Ralph Wilson in the chat remembers him, and so does Paul Walker. That was your boy.
I've lost almost all my confidence in him.
And your credibility, too, because you were like, oh, you were ball washing him all off season. He is better than anyone they've ever signed.
Was it surprising? I don't want to say was it surprising, but I feel like it was pretty telling, wasn't it, that Brandon Cooks was inactive, so he didn't play at all. He wasn't even active for this game. And Tyrell Shavers, I don't even think he played at all. But if he did, it was only a couple snaps at the very beginning. That tells you what their pecking order is. That Brandon Cooks and Tyrell Shavers are and Khalil Shakir, of course, too. That's their top three right now. That's the guys who they were not going to risk for an injury. Josh Palmer was playing in fucking late in the fourth quarter.
Who did they bench again? It was the Shakir, and who was the other wide receivers?
Shakir didn't play. Shavers, if he played, it wasn't more than a snap or two at the very beginning. And Brandon Cooks didn't even dress. He was an inactive for the game. That's their top three receivers right now.
I'll say this.
Gabe Davis, I think, played his way into staying in this lineup. Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask you. So next week, if you're rolling out 5 receivers, who are you rolling out?
Well, the 3 who we just mentioned, it's absolutely Cook, Shakir, Shavers for sure.
Okay.
4th is going to be Gabe Davis, I think. And I think the 5th is going to be Palmer. I think Keon Coleman, he had 2 catches for 49 yards. He had a drop in this game, and he had a nice 2-point conversion, whatever. But the catch he had for whatever yardage it was nobody within 20 yards. He almost didn't even know what to do after he caught the ball for a second. He's just not going to play.
I definitely wouldn't mind, like, seeing what – I mean, Gabe hasn't really played all that much or, up until now. How much do you look at Gabe playing next week against his former team with Jacksonville? Like, do you feel like there's anything there? Like, hey, like, you're playing against the team that cut him. Remember when they cut him? Remember, like, Mitch Morris, because he was in that locker room last year, he tweeted, like, this is fucking bullshit. Do you at all factor that in with, like, playing your old team, like, wanting to, like, Sean McDermott likes those little narratives about, like, oh, they counted you out. We're bringing you in to go and fuck with Jacksonville. Like, do you put that in any consideration at all?
Maybe. I do think because Josh Allen trusts him and he could block, and maybe, you know what, maybe in hindsight, because he was inactive, he was a healthy scratch a couple weeks down the stretch here.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they didn't play him all that much.
Yeah,
and
I think they wanted to conserve him maybe a little bit. I don't know if it's necessarily because they're playing Jacksonville, but I'll say this. I think he's ahead of Josh Palmer in the pecking order now. Like, I don't think you're going to see Josh Palmer out there a lot in next week. Yeah,
I don't know. It's going to be interesting with the with the 4 and 5. Like, there's no telling what they'll do. Like, they've shocked us with who they activate. Like, so I mean, I'm with you on who they should.
I'm not with you there. I don't think there's going to be any surprise about who's going to play. I think it's going to be how many. Does Gabe Davis play more than Josh Palmer? How much is how many snaps does Shavers get? Maybe stuff like that. But I don't think there's any question about the first 5. I do not think Keon Coleman's going to dress. I don't even think that's going to be a question. A couple people are talking about Hardman on the practice squad. I don't think he's going to come up for this game either. They got Shakir returning punts. They got Ray Davis. Hardman's not going to play over Josh Palmer. I can tell you that. And it fucking better not be, considering Josh Palmer's getting $10 million this year. Let's take a quick break. I do got one quick little 20-second fun fact from the Jets game. Then we will get into the Jaguars at Highmark Stadium right after this 5-second break on the video side. Talking Buffalo here, presented by the law office of William Mattar. Her in the car, call William Mattar, 444-4444. Joe from Queens, at least when it comes to this game specifically, is about as lifeless as the New York Jets himself. He just doesn't want to talk about this game. I will say, one cool thing about this game is there were a couple guys with incentives, and it was very obvious that they wanted to get those guys those incentives. Dawson Knox needed a touchdown and a catch, and I think 7 yards, and he got like $300,000. He got them all. Did you see that first touchdown, by the way? Jackson Hawes and Dawson Knox were running. There was no one even defending them on the Jets. Both guys were open by like 8 yards, and Trubisky chose to throw it to Knox. But anyway, that was cool. That was a $200,000 catch right there for him. And then Ty Johnson needed to have 2 touchdowns in this game for a $250,000 bonus, and he got it. Now, this is not a guy who makes $8 million a year. You know what I mean? So Ty Johnson getting that was really cool, and the Bills were very clearly trying to get it because they ran the ball 4 straight times to him on a first and goal situation. It didn't work out, but him scoring was cool because he got himself a $250,000 for that, so that was fun.
No, I mean they do that a lot. Like they've done it the last couple of seasons with giving guys like the money so they are like, we want you to get your money, and I applaud that. That's a very, very cool thing. I remember like 1 year, Ralph Wilson Sr. in the chat may remember this because he's a historian like me. Like something happened with Doug Marrone screwed someone over. I forgot who he screwed over. Maybe it was Sammy Watkins. Like he didn't give him the ball when he wanted to get 1,000 yards. I think he would have got a bonus. And Marrone, rumor has it he'd never liked the Sammy pick, and I think he screwed him out of it because of that, like to get more money.
I can't remember.
I kind of remember that happening, like with Sammy. Like it was in a meaningless game against. It was 2014 against the Patriots. They had benched their players, the Patriots, and the Bills won that game. And they didn't get. They should have got Sammy the ball just to get him 1,000 yards, and they didn't. And I think he would have. Usually, a lot of those players get incentives if they go over 1,000 yards. But anyways, it's cool that they do that. And anyways, can we move on from the Jets game yet or no?
The crowd wanted Reggie Gilliam to get a touchdown so bad.
That was funny. I saw that.
I predicted that. All right, so in Highmark Stadium folklore, I don't know if again you didn't pay much attention. Who will go down as scoring the last touchdown ever in the history of Highmark Stadium? Well,
was it? It was that shitty Jets guy. It was a shitty Jets guy.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. When 30 years from now, everyone will forever remember the name of Andrew Beck.
No one's going to remember that.
He caught one pass for 2 yards, including the last touchdown ever at Highmark Stadium. Well, unless the Bills end up getting the AFC Championship game. If the Chargers and the Bills go all the way, we could still
I think that, maybe the Chargers could beat the Pats. You never know.
Who scored the last Bills touchdown? That's something more people probably remember.
I already forgot. Who scored the last? Who scored the last?
It was a Mitch Trubisky to Ty Johnson.
Who scored the last Sabres goal at the odd? Does anyone remember that? Do you remember that? You were there. You said every time you ever went to a game. Yeah, I know you covered the game. Yeah, you covevered my ass.
That was important.
Yes, you were.
I don't remember
who
scored.
Box. Got tears in your eyes going to that game, thinking about all the people that work there that are going to lose their jobs.
I'm emotional thinking about the odd right now. No, okay. One last point. Well, I'm not even going to bring it up with you. I'm not going to bother. I'll talk about him on the show this week. I really liked what I saw from Ray Davis. He looked fast.
No, he looked good. He looked great.
Gives you a little bit of confidence that, hey, if for whatever reason James Cook's off on that day, it's not going for him, or if he goes down, he gets hurt, I got some confidence that Ray Davis can come in and do the job.
Well, I mean, that's though. So let's not get too cocky. Not get too confident.
I didn't say it was better than James Cook. I'm just telling you.
I know, but you're like, well, if James Cook goes down, I'm happy. I'm fine with this. It's like, okay, dude, Ray Davis, like they killed the Jets again. The Jets. But hey, if you want, I'm sorry. Look, it's fine. You can do your grades with Matt Richwarren the 7th and watch the film tomorrow, and you'll talk about the Jags game on Thursday.
I'm not going to watch the film tomorrow, by the way.
Oh no! Why?
What's there to get from the film on that game?
I don't know.
I am going to look at one thing and like what defensive backs are out there.
Do you have any? This is a playoff week. Like, do you have any big lineup? Like,
I haven't gotten to that point yet. I'll say this for everybody listening now. Which days are they? Wednesday? I don't know who's going to be on. This is Monday's show. I can get my days right. Tuesday, I don't know yet. I'm going to see how tomorrow plays out. I'd like to get somebody. It's obviously going to be all about the Jags this week. I'm hoping to get somebody from Jacksonville on the show this week. Matt Richwarren, of course, the 7th will be on Wednesday's show.
No live show. You got to do a live show somewhere.
Thursday show for the first time in literally a year. So if you've been following the show for less than a year, you wouldn't even know what the hell I'm talking about. But Tone Pucks is going to be here with me in my studio with Wednesday Night Live for Thursday's podcast. It's been a year.
How many drinks are you guys going to have? How many drinks are you guys going to have before that? Or is he going to be? He's going to be on a clean. All right. So
Friday show. I don't know. It'll definitely be a preview show. I'm hoping to get Sarah Larson, Bill's super fan / blogger. She's done podcasting before, because this will be 100th consecutive Bills game going to Jacksonville next week. So I'd like to.
I feel like I feel you got to get Dell on. Dell, you haven't had on in a while.
I haven't.
You haven't. I mean, he used to be on the Dell show with you, or not. Whatever you guys. I forgot. He was the Yurden before Dell. He was Yurden before Dell, or whatever the hell you did. But
this is to set up Mitch Morse because it's Jacksonville. Yeah, Mitch ain't gonna do the show. Not on no notice. In fact,
He might do
not
it.
to promote another show I've already heard that he's going to be doing. I'll promote it. Matt Prater is going to have him on his shout podcast as
you
well.
weren't going to promote Mafia Matt's podcast. What the hell, dude? You've lost it,
Diamond
bro.
Pickle's been around for a while because he just had how many piss breaks for its own pucks.
Oh God, yes.
I
think you have to have
for people who are like, what the hell are you talking about? My guest was on with me on a live show at a bar about a year or so ago. A couple cocktails, did not want to wait for a server to come by our area where we were doing a podcast. So he decided to get up and go to the bar himself and take a piss break and go get a beer or a drink or whatever during the middle of the show. It was kind of funny. But anyway, those are guys we're probably going to have on throughout the week. We'll get into that throughout the week. Let's quickly turn our attention here to the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's not a team in the NFL right now, dude. They've won 8 in a row. They've won 9 of their last 10. I've started doing a little bit of Jacksonville studying. They haven't been a ton of good teams per se during this streak, but they did go to Denver a couple weeks ago and beat them on the road 34-20. They've scored 27 or more points in 6 of their last 8 games. There's a lot of things I can say about them. What are your
initial thoughts?
We'll deep dive into them this week and into the stats and metrics and all that shit throughout the week. But what's just your first initial thoughts right now that it ends up the 12-5 Bills are going to play the Jacksonville Jaguars? How do you feel about this matchup? I don't know. Tell me whatever you want to tell me about this.
Well, historically, this is a team that the Bills have lost in the playoffs twice. Both their starting quarterbacks got hurt in those games. Jim Kelly got hurt in 96. Tyrod got hurt in 2017.
Yeah.
Their owner owns a wrestling company, or co-own, whatever. The son of the owner owns a wrestling company, which is kind of hilarious.
Tony Khan.
Yeah, he's annoying. I used to like Tony Khan, and then he's just, every time I see him, he's like coked out of his mind, it looks like. And he's like, like, I love wrestling. He's just nuts. So it's like, okay, dude. But on the field, it feels like it's the same roster as last year, in terms of their skill guys, and maybe I'm wrong in that regard. It just feels like it's the same roster, but the coaching has been better. If you look at and I haven't been watching the film like, the film bros have or are about to, but like, you look at their stats, like it seems like they don't have like really a bona fide number one wide receiver. It feels like everyone eats, and there's that air quote again, but you look at it.
It's a legitimate kind of like Buffalo in a way, but I think we're better skill players than Buffalo had last year. But everybody eats is their mantra 100%. Yes.
Yeah. And Jacoby Myers has been really good for him. He's a guy that I talked about that the Bills should have maybe gone after at the deadline because he was and he's been great for them. And Travis Etienne I had Travis Etienne last year on my fantasy team, and he was freaking awful. And this year he's been pretty good. I mean, that's how it is. And look, Lawrence has always been, he's always been up and down his career. And now he's on 26 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. I think I saw his numbers were this year. You are right that they've gone on a big of a roll. Have they peaked? And we'll see. I mean, I don't really, going back to what we've been saying all year, like I'm not worried about Denver. I mean, I know Denver's their big win, but it's like Denver's like, okay, fine. Like you won in Denver.
I feel like every team's like that, including Buffalo.
Exactly. That's why I'm not like, I didn't going into this game. I honestly didn't really care about the seedings all that much because I was like, whatever. Like, there's good and bad for each team. It's not like I'm avoiding this team. Like, okay, you're playing Jacksonville. I thought about like the good things about Jacksonville is, I don't know how much different they are last year in terms of personnel wise. They seem the same, and the Bills just obliterated them last year. And obviously this year it's different. They won a bunch of games. It being in Jacksonville, you don't have to worry about, weather. I know it's like a small thing, but you don't have to worry about weather all that much. And you also have it to where you're going to have a lot of Bills fans in Jacksonville. Like, I have to assume that. Maybe I'm wrong, but like Jacksonville just feels like it's going to be like a lot of Bills fans there.
We talked about that last week. You said that of the possible opponents, you said that there would probably be most Bills fans in Jacksonville as opposed to Baltimore or New England or Pittsburgh. And
maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Like,
no, I don't think you are.
Yeah, like Duville, whatever the fuck their thing is. I don't know. Like, Duville, whatever. Dudleyville. Dudleyville 3D. But yeah, and then defensively, what do you know about their defense? Their defense is good against the run, obviously. Right? Is that the big thing? Their defense is great against the run.
Yeah, I got a small list. I'll get to in a second. Where there's a couple things that really bode well. I feel like with the Bills playing Jacksonville that play to the Bills' strengths, and then there's a couple things that I think bode badly for the Bills that play against their weaknesses. And by the way, again, we're trying to balance stuff here. So most people are listening to this on Monday or watching this on demand sometime on Monday, as opposed to, well, actually, we're up well over 1,000 now on the live. So that's really cool. Thank you, everybody, of course. But anyway, I don't want to talk too much about something that's going on now. That's going to be old news tomorrow. But I don't know what happened, folks, but Pittsburgh had a 1st and goal on the 1-yard line with like 7 seconds left. And they went to the half. Something happened. They didn't score any points. Somebody in the live chat just said there was some Joe Brady shit. Anyway, they came away with no points. Baltimore's up 10-3 now at the half. So Pittsburgh just got inside the 2-yard line and came away with no points before the half. I don't know what happened. And also, unfortunately, by the time we're off the air already, we won't know when the Bills are playing Jacksonville. So we won't be able to talk about that on the show as well. Anyway, I think we talked about this a little bit last week. We're kind of like, actually, you come bring this up pretty much all freaking season about how do you feel about these teams? Rank the teams that you're, most want to play or at least want to play. Going back to last week, where was Jacksonville on your list? Because they were in the middle for me. I wanted to go to Foxborough. Jacksonville was in the middle, and I did not want to go to Baltimore. I was pretty consistent about that too.
Yeah, Jacksonville was I didn't have like a giant feel for them. And Michael Partham says the Bills haven't won in Jacksonville since 2013. I remember that game. That was EJ Manuel. Like, it was his last game he played that year because then he got hurt, and then Doug Marrone kind of lied about it. But yeah, that was the last time they won, and they've lost that 2020. It's been weird. It's Jekyll and Hyde with the Jags and the Bills. But
let me ask you one other question.
This is such a unique playoff seeding right now, because like, how many teams from last year are in it this year? Like Jacksonville wasn't in it last year. Denver was in it. No one was scared of Denver last year.
They came to Buffalo last year.
They came to Buffalo. They got crushed. It's just not like the same.
Well, Houston was in it last year. Baltimore was in it last year. New England was not. No New England, no Jacksonville.
Well, yeah, Baltimore wasn't as like, oh my God, like watch out. But New England wasn't in last year. It's just it's a new blood, and whenever
I think it's because Kansas City, just because Kansas City's not in it alone, that makes it feel a lot different. Whenever this year,
whenever there's new blood, I don't get as worried as like, oh man, we can't go against the new blood. Like usually, like new blood, okay, I don't know much about you, whereas old blood, you have like the reputation, a little bit of that. Like the freaking the Texans. The Texans, I didn't want really that much a part of them.
Because when you say old blood versus new blood, Joe, when you say old blood versus new blood, that is why I think I preferred New England. It's not that I think Jacksonville is head and shoulders better than New England. They're not. It's that I know New England, or who cares what I know? Sean McDermott knows New England. The Bills know New England. They play them twice a year. They know that franchise. They know us. I just would line up man on man and see who's better. Jacksonville's a big unknown. I mean, it's an unknown. Buffalo's an unknown for them too, as well. But I don't know. It is weird. You're right. Again, I didn't have a strong preference, and I've said this last week and the week before that and the week before that. I truly think the Bills could win by 2 scores next week.
By the way,
I also think they could lose by 2 scores. What?
By the way, Bills Jags next Sunday, 1 p.m.
Is that official?
Yep, that's official.
Are you sure that's official?
Yes, Miki. I'm looking at the freaking Sal Capaccio, your boy, just tweeted it, and Michael Partham just said it in the chat. My God.
Oh, wow. Yes. Okay, well, all right.
Yeah,
well, there you go. All right,
yeah.
I'm glad we could talk about it then. 1 p.m. All right, I'll run through this for people listening. Well, dude, I didn't know. Usually it's at the end of the game.
What do you think?
So they did it at halftime. All right, so they did it at halftime.
I got a DM from BustedBalls.com.
You know what's funny? Yeah. I had a prediction, and I was afraid to say it because, again, it would be old news. I was going to predict. I would have been wrong. I thought Saturday 8 p.m. was going to be my guess. Anyway.
Oh, I predicted this on Blue Cry.
Well, Saturdays.
Wait, hold on. Blue Cry. I'm sorry. Let me pat myself on the back for 5 seconds. On Blue Cry, I tweeted out earlier today, I bet you Bills Jags will be a 1:00 game on Sunday. I'm the greatest. Yeah, because they're not putting 8 p.m. Are you kidding me? They're not putting Jacksonville, the two smallest markets in the universe. Like they're not putting that. If it was Bills Patriots, they would put that like on a night game. Anyways, yeah.
Let me run this down real quick for everybody who's listening to the show. All right, so Saturday's Rams at Carolina early. Green Bay. I can't believe fucking Carolina's in the playoffs at 8 and 9. That's just, I can't get over that. Anyway,
I can't either.
Rams at Carolina and then Green Bay at Chicago. So that's your Saturday slate. Sunday, Bills, Jags at 1. Frisco, 49ers. That's going to be a fun game. 4:30. And then 8 p.m., Chargers and Patriots. Quick hot take, bold prediction. Chargers are going to win that game. Monday night, Houston at either Baltimore or Pittsburgh. As we record this, we don't know. All right, well, let me get this in. What's your thought? Everybody in the chat, too, chime in. Do you like this? Do you love this? What was your preference? Did you prefer primetime? The Bills came into the season pretty much unbeatable in primetime, but they've not looked great in primetime this year. They lost, what, 3 games in primetime this year? Yeah, fuck that, man. I don't need no primetime. What do you think? Sunday, 1 p.m.
I didn't have any take, I'm sorry, on like when the game would be.
You didn't care?
Didn't care. I mean, I knew once it was Jacksonville, I said there's no, it's 1 p.m. So I was setting it up for like it's 1 p.m. I'd rather have it on I'm more about like, hey, what would you rather have it? Like Sunday feels better. Like, okay, like if you do it Saturday, you only got 6 days of rest. You do it Monday, then okay, great, you got more rest, but then you have a short week. It makes sense. But yeah, I don't have a thing. So yeah, and Michael Partham, too few Sundays, 1 p.m. You guys everyone loves 1 p.m. games in Buffalo.
I love them.
I know you do. I mean, we're going to have to probably go on after the show ends because I know you're going to be a psycho next week. You're going to change your mind 15 times. We got to do it after the game. No, we're going to do it during the game. We got to do it at 8 p.m. at night. We got to go 15 hours at least. I got to beat Podfather. Yeah, that's what you're going to do. Anyway.
See how Joe's getting some juice and energy now that we're not talking about the Jets game anymore. It's so funny. I was just thinking in my mind, if the Bills could get past Jacksonville, well, that'd be the first AFC game. I was like, well, would they know? Well, they won't. So if the Bills get past Jacksonville, folks, Sunday night, 8 p.m., Chargers, New England. If the Chargers were to beat New England, that means the Bills would not go to Denver. That means they would play the winner of the Houston-Pittsburgh game. If New England at home handles business, which they probably should, against the Chargers, then that means the Bills would absolutely be going to Denver. So, but anyway, my point is if the Bills win against Jacksonville, you're not going to know until Sunday night at 11 p.m. where you'll be going if you're trying to book a flight or something for the divisional round.
Hey, look, it's good. Look, I'm excited. I mean, it's like I said all year, we have no idea what's going to happen. No one does. I don't. Whatever happens on Sunday, like, look, we can say that the season was a failure. We can say it was a success. Like if they win, like obviously if they win, okay, we keep going. If they lose, it's a failure of the season. But I'm not going to yell at someone who is going to come on the next day and be like, oh, like you people thought they were going to be better and they weren't or whatever. Like it's been bipolar this whole year. Or if someone's going to say, oh, the people who didn't believe, like the hell with you. It's been a crazy season where it's impossible to really figure out the AFC or the, or anything. Like if you want to go or the Bills, I don't know what they're going to do. So I'm not going to like go on here and go on a tirade against anti-Bills, like, pessimistics versus the positive bros.
There's plenty of both. There's plenty of both.
Plenty of both, sure. And either way you look at it, like I hear what they're saying, but I'm not going to like yell at the other side. But
Steven in the live chat, Steven Boycheck, says 69 degrees high for Sunday, so temps won't be out. Well, I don't know if that's going to be the case, but let's just assume it's going to be. I don't think anybody could figure out something 6 days ahead of time.
They got weatherman. They have weatherman.
Whatever, dude. I don't think a meteorologist knows what the hell for sure is going to be in 6 days.
Okay.
I tell you what. Well, Tuesday night I went to bed and it was supposed to be a lot of snow. Wednesday it was fucking a foot of snow and half the people couldn't even show up to my party within 3 hours. So I don't want to hear that shit.
Stupid. The media in Buffalo's stupid. That's why.
A serious question. Do you think
bring Tom Jones back? Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think the weather will be any factor whatsoever for the Bills in this game? And I know in years past, you and I have fucking fought about this before.
No, we haven't.
You have said you've had the terrible take that if you were the Bills, you've said this before, you would rather go on the road to a nice stadium with no weather as opposed to being home in Orchard Park in January for a Bills game. Now, in fairness,
hold
they
on.
used to throw the ball a lot more.
Sure, but also they had issues with in the cold, and they've been better at the last couple of years. I thought we've had this conversation. You've agreed with me at times. You were on the don't freaking revisionist history me just to try to like yell at me, okay? But no, it's look. I'm fine with either that now. Whereas before, you're right. They throwing. I was like, as long if it's snowing, fine. If it's windy, but they can run the football pretty well. So. I mean, at least we know with the weather, it's going to be. It's all.
Do you think it'll be a factor for the Bills? So I'll forget about our preference. Do you think it'll matter for the Bills, who've been freezing their nuts off for the last month now?
No, it won't be. I mean, like I said, I think the biggest factor there will be if there's a 12th man presence there, with fans, making noise against the Jags. But again, I don't know. Like the Jags are like the most obscure team. Like no one talks about them ever. It's just kind of like they've been kind of pathetic. Not pathetic, but
every year a team does this. Every year a team
I know, but
sucks.
I'm saying the Jags since what, like 2013, like they've always been like they had that one good year with Doug Marrone where they went to the AFC Championship, and then they were terrible for like years. Then Doug Peterson came in at some point, and they were okay for like 1 year. They went like they've always just been kind of meh. And like,
you know what their record was last year?
They were terrible. They had like the first, second pick in the draft.
4-13 they were last year.
Yeah, they were terrible. I mean, they were all there, but they were an
and they traded up in the draft for Hunter, who got hurt and is out for the year already.
Yeah,
and so for them to do what they're doing is
and Tony Khan's insane. And but yes, it's gonna be it's a good matchup. I will like to watch some of the highlights and see what they were like. Like, they didn't have a hard schedule, as you said. They lost to the Bengals. You have to look at their losses. Like they lost to the Bengals in week 2. I forgot who else they lost to. That was the one thing I saw was a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't think about. Paul Walker says high humidity. I don't think it's that's hot in Jacksonville. Like it's on the other side of the Florida. It's kind of.
Let me do this. I got to take one more quick on the video side. A quick 5-second break. Literally 5-second break on the video side. We'll be back. We'll talk a little more Jags, wrap up with some Highmark Stadium stuff and whatever the hell's end up coming. I said, Joe, before the breaks that there were a couple things that I think really play well for the Bills and really play bad as well. Let me run through those real quick. Then if you want to react to them, you can. Here's the pros to playing Jacksonville this week. Besides the fact that I think the Bills are very much battle-tested in the postseason, and Jacksonville's not. That, to me, is a pretty decent-sized one, too. But Jacksonville does not run the football great. They have not had a 100-yard rusher in 13 weeks now. So it's not like they're going to come, or actually they're home, but I don't think they're going to run the ball down the Bills' throat. The Bills are not good at stopping the run. I don't think Jacksonville's kind of team is going to run it down their throat. Trevor Lawrence takes sacks, just like Josh Allen was sacked 40 times this year. Trevor Lawrence was sacked 41 times this year. So you could get to him. Just like Josh Allen, he could evade sacks, but he also takes too many as well. And then I was looking this up. I went to Next Gen Stats. I kept like, where are the stats? They're not really in the top 10 in like any offensive metric. Like they got all these weapons. You talked about it. Kind of like this year's version of Everybody Eats, but like they're not in the top 10 in anything on the offense. So I think the Bills defense has a shot here. And the Bills, they got a good passing game, or they got good weapons. The Bills defense has been strong in the pass defense all season long this season. So I like that. And then on the other side of the ball, the one thing I like for the Bills is the Jacksonville defense is only tied for 17th in quarterback hits this year, and they're tied for 23rd in sacks with 32 for the season. So it's not like they're not like Houston. They're not like Philly. You know what I mean? I don't expect Josh Allen to get sacked 5-6 times in this game. That's the good side. The bad side, Jacksonville's got a really good rush defense. They're 5th in rushing yards allowed per play, just 3.9, and they're 8th best in EPA per rush. So they're top 8 in both rush defense metrics. And the Bills this season have been at their worst when they can't get the ground game going the way they want to. So Jacksonville has the ability to stop the run. Devin Lloyd is one of the very best linebackers in the NFL. Josh Allen Hines is very good. They got Trayvon Walker, Arik Armstead. They got some guys on that defense, and they got a lot of weapons on the offense. We talked about him, Mayers and Brian Thomas Jr. and Parker Washington, Travis Etienne. Anyway, so they can stop the run. They also, I know you don't like to give a shit about turnovers, but Jacksonville's plus 13 in turnover margin this year. Third best in the NFL. So they're really good at getting takeaways and not giving the football away. And then the last thing, you mentioned this earlier in the show, Cam Little, that fucking kicker. He can hit from anywhere, 67-yarder. A close game or a big play before the half and 3 points that matters, he'll get you that. Meanwhile, we literally don't even know who the Bills' kicker is going to be this week. So, I mean, that is an enormous potential advantage anyway for the Jags. So they stop the run. They don't turn the ball over, or if they do, they get takeaways to make up for it, and they got a great kicker.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you look at their schedule for who they played, they barely beat the Raiders by a point. They beat them by a point. That's the Raiders. That's not exactly a juggernaut. They're picking first in the draft, for God's sakes. The Rams lit them up in London, I should say. They lit them up 35-7. Stafford had 5 touchdowns.
Such an ugly game.
Yeah, it was, and that sort of stuff. Then they won a bunch in a row. They beat San Fran. San Fran's been good this year, obviously, so that's a good...
Yeah, but they were hurt and not that good for a couple weeks.
Yeah, well, it was early in the season. Like, I think they still had their health there a little bit. But I think, to me, the key in this game is going to be how Josh Allen does. That's going to be the key.
Oh, yeah.
And that's, it's always going to be the key. You're right. You have 2 games with 3 games for his career against Jacksonville, that I could think of was that 2021 game he was terrible in. That was when they killed him, and it was Urban Meyer, and it was 9-6. It was awful. And then the next year, and then 2 years later, they lost to Jacksonville in London, and that was the game I remember where, if I remember, serves me, the first 3 quarters of the offense stunk. Woke up in the fourth quarter, it was kind of garbage time. They made it closer than it was. And then last year, they obliterated them on Monday Night Football, where Allen had 300 yards passing in the half. He was awesome in that game.
Yeah.
So again, that's kind of the history in terms of that. Josh has been great in the playoffs. What's that thing you phrase? You call Josh what in the playoff? Beast mode? Is that what you say about Josh? What was the thing you have a name for Josh when he
I can't
wants
remember
to take over?
anymore.
Oh, come on, man! You had it. It was kind of catchy. It was beast mode.
I don't really,
alpha male Superman. I don't fucking remember.
I don't know, but he does step up in the play. He plays just as good in the playoffs, if not better. He's not one of those guys who's a regular season dynamo. I just don't believe it. Listen, I don't want to be cocky. I'm not going to be arrogant. I've stand by what I've said for so long now. I truly think the Bills can win or lose against any team in this field 50% of the time. It could go either way against any of these teams. You just got to
get hot.
There's something about Jacksonville that I just don't believe in. I don't know. I don't believe
I don't
in
know.
Jacksonville.
Like I said, I might
be wrong.
They're sometimes I worry about the new blood when they've been drafting high for a number of years. Because that means they've been getting the best players on the draft. And the Jags have been, like I told you, they've been bad. They've been 2 years they were respectable. Or actually 1, I think, since 2018, where they made the playoffs. If you remember, you probably don't remember. They made it under Peterson. They went to the wild card. They came back from behind against the Chargers in Jacksonville, and then they lost to Kansas City in the divisional round. And outside of that season, they've been pretty bad for most of the year since 2018. I say that because, again, you draft higher, you get a lot of players that are young, and you just can't put it together. And I feel like that's where the concern is for me, is how many of these guys are hey, this is a team that's not, they don't have a lot of cap issues or anything like that, so they have a lot of young guys who are going into their own a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't know.
First year coach. No, I think they're going to be good. I think they are a good team. I think they're going to be a good team. I don't know, man.
We need to get some Jags. It's the most obscure team, in terms of figuring it out of all the teams. We don't know dick about. I don't know why. We just, because they were 4-13 last year. It's amazing. Like I said, 4-13. They're in the playoffs.
It
Same with
happens
the
every
Patriots.
year, though. It's crazy.
But even more
man.
this year.
The
Like the
fucking
Patriots.
The
I
Patriots
know,
were
even
garbage
more.
last year.
I know, even more.
It's,
I'm saying it's even more. Yeah.
I know, it's nuts. Anyway, let's maybe we'll circle back. I do want to get to some comments before we get off the air. What are people talking about my diet? What, Paul, you dissing me? Paul's the one on the diet. I am. Well, tomorrow, Monday, it starts.
Oh.
Anyway,
what happened to your old things? Like, what was your old slogan? Like, diet starts tomorrow. When you say "Welcome to Talking
diet
Buffalo"?
starts Monday.
But wait, what was your opening? What was it?
Diet starts tomorrow. The podcast starts now.
You
Didn't
gotta
go over well. People were like, "Shut the fuck up" at the beginning.
Why,
they didn't like
you
it.
need to put that on a T-shirt. Since you're selling merchandise, which I'm sure you've sold like 2 sweaters, one to Tooch and one to your
My
mom.
daughter is one of the 2 anyway. She came. I
Oh.
watched the game with her today. She showed up with a Talking Buffalo hoodie. I thought that was pretty cool.
Why don't you send me one? I need a ring, by the way. I told you this before. My niece said I look like shit on these things, and not because I'm ugly, but like there's no lighting in my room. Like there's so many things. Oh, and I got my microphone to work finally, so I don't have to blame you for what happened.
Oh, good. I don't have to buy you one. That's awesome.
No, but buy me the light ring so I can look good. Like,
all right. Well, I'll do that. All right, Highmark Stadium, big deal, obviously for good reason, all week long, and especially today. We talked about this for more than half of our show last Thursday on the podcast, or actually last Friday, I should say, on the podcast. I think so. I get it, man. I really do. I follow a lot of people on Twitter who were at the game and tailgating and the emotions and all that stuff. I really do. I get it. Lots of great moments, fun times. And we talked about this Friday. For me personally, I equate it to, here's where I've arrived at, Joe. These memories inside the stadium, mom and dad taking you in the game, whatever. Just the memories of the Bills and the Super Bowl years. I equate that to the franchise more than I equate that to the stadium itself. I was thinking about this. Like the 49ers, for an example, that dynasty with Joe Montana and Jerry Rice and Taylor and Roger Craig, all those great teams the 49ers had. That didn't leave. Like when they left, they played at Candlestick Park all those years. When they left Candlestick Park in 2013, and they went to like Levi Stadium, I believe in Santa Clara, 10 years, people still remember Joe Montana. They don't think of Candlestick Park. They think primarily of Joe Montana and Jerry Rice and just those great teams. I don't know. I just feel like 10 years from now, people were talking about 51-3. Like 51-3 ends now. It doesn't. 10 years from now, people are going to talk about their all-time great Bills memories. It's still going to be 51-3. 4 straight Super Bowls. Like none of that's leaving. They're leaving the stadium or whatever. I don't even know if I'm making sense right now the way I'm trying to explain that to you. It's about the franchise more than the stadium itself. The stadium is awesome. I get it. It's the stadium, and there's one going across the street, and more memories will be made there, but it's about the team. I don't know if I'm doing a good job.
No, you're not. I feel like for you, how do I say this? Is there a little bit of jealousy is going to be the wrong word, but I'm just going to say it, that you don't feel this way, and then you see it's kind of like you've seen everyone partying and they're having the time of their life thinking about this, and you don't get it because you never went to games, which I think is a crime. I feel really bad for you that you have not gone. I
don't like them.
But you haven't gone. The last home game you went to was fucking Tony Banks versus Rob Johnson.
Yeah,
that's pathetic.
No, it's not.
And yes, it is. And I feel like you're a little bit jealous in a way, or not jealous, but like I feel like you're like you don't get it, but you're kind of like, man, I wish I could have felt that a little bit. Like I get what you're saying. Like yes, the team is about the memories, not the stadium, and like a lot of this is more nostalgia for the team than it is for like, oh man, that building. I love being in that building and looking down because I could see everything, kind of thing. But like I feel like it's kind of like anyone can feel how they feel. Like I'm not
agreed. I agree with that.
I'm not like I don't have tears. I'm not I'm not like gonna. I know a lot of people do. There are friends of mine who really do love that stadium. Like they went there a lot. But I understand your point of view. You didn't go to the games. And I don't think anyone who went to the games should feel anything. Like if you didn't go to the games, like what, like.
All right. Well, let me give you another example though that I can relate to, and it's similar. And I think maybe this offers a little more perspective, because again, and you're right. Listen, I don't want to sound like a robot right now. Like I get it. A lot of people have memories that come attached to that building, and everyone should feel the way that they want to feel. Some people, it's as much about being inside the stadium as it is watching the team that's playing on the field. Those kind of memories, family, people, friends, whatever. I completely understand that, Joe. And maybe I can't relate to that with Highmark Stadium, but you know what I can relate to? The Odd. Yeah. The Odd is a great example for me. We didn't talk about this last week. I went to a lot of shit growing up at the Odd. I'm old. So for a lot of young people, you guys weren't even born yet when the Odd was gone. The Odd was gone by the mid-90s. But I'm older. I went to the Odd a lot. I went to a lot of hockey games there. I went to a lot of shit there. Talked about it. I did. I covered the last Sabres game ever in the history of the franchise at the Odd. I also went to the last event ever at the Odd ever. It was actually a WCW wrestling show that was there. So I've done that. I did have my father who would get on the Metro bus, the number 5 Niagara, and take me all the way downtown to the Odd. And back then, in those days, wrestling was territorial. There was no Monday Night Raws or cable TV. But wrestling game to Buffalo like every 6 weeks. And he used to take me all the time. So I've been to that Odd plenty. When it closed, it literally moved, a couple hundred yards downtown to a new, at the time, better arena. I remember the events. I don't really care. I'm not saying I don't care about the Odd. It just never brought me to real emotions. I don't know. I just don't feel emotions attached to the arena.
No, I mean,
going to the arena. So that's how I was about the Odd too.
I get. Look, I mean, but I feel like you were younger then, but you also, and maybe
some of these people crying about it now are in their 20s and 30s,
and that's fine. And I understand that because again, they went to it. But the Odd was different. The Odd wasn't around that much longer. I mean, look, you're what? I don't know. I'm not going to ask you to say your age, but you went to the. You're 54, but the Odd was like around for like 15 years of your life of going there, right? Am I wrong? Like when 90, 80 is when you started going to the Odd, probably, right? Like you were 8, 9. It's just it wasn't around as long for people like the Ralph is for like you or I or whatever.
For older people, sure, yes.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like for you, like I think the bottom line for you is this. Everyone has the attachment. You don't go to the games, and that's it. And the best analogy I could say is it's like moving out of it's like moving out of the house you grew up in, and you're moving next door, yes, to a much better place, and it's beautiful and it's better, but you're still going to have that sentimentality about the old house, and that's how it is. Like, and look, I've talked to a couple people. Like I talked to, I was trying to remember like how people felt about Shea Stadium and Yankee Stadium. And people were nostalgic for Yankee Stadium when it shut down. Like,
I went there the last season because I wanted to make sure I was there the last season.
Yeah, and people and obviously, look, Yankee Stadium's way more. It's better than the Ralph in terms of like championships and like it was around 90 years, 90, all that sort of stuff. No one gave a shit about Shea shutting down with the Mets. Like no one cared. It was Shea, And I talked to a friend of mine who was a Maple Leafs fan, and I asked him about like Maple Leaf Gardens, and he was like, no one really cared. They just want to move to a different stadium. But like Buffalo's weird. Like Buffalo is they take football extremely serious. It's religion, and yes, and it could be weird. Like some of it, like look, I'm not gonna lie. I saw some tweets that I was like of people crying about like security guards, and I'm like, what is going on? Like it was a little weird and pandering and hey, mazel tov to them. They want to feel that way, but I do feel like people there. I understand what it's like. It's like I said, it's like moving to a different house, and it is a nostalgia thing. But you're right. Your memories are for the team, the players, not the venue, really, for the most part. I get.
And if it's not for other people, that's fine. I mean, it's okay to be different. We don't all have the same feelings and attachments and emotions, and I'm trying. I feel like I'm being very respectful to however anybody feels. And that is a good point what you said. Football means more in Buffalo than it does in other fan bases. It just does. Yeah. I'm not saying Buffalo's unique because there's plenty of fan bases. Boston, Philly, Pittsburgh. I'm sure there's a lot of loyal Green Bay, a lot of loyal fan bases. It's not just Buffalo. Bill's Mafia travels so great. They go to all these road games and stuff. It means more. I understand that. I truly do. And there is an element that I don't go to the games. So how could I have that attachment?
I feel like I can't wrap my head around that you're not going to games. I'm sorry. Like I know, like
I
I'm
like
not talking.
watching them at home.
I get. Yeah, but like you're such a drunk, and like I would have thought you would love the tailgating scene. No, but you are. You're a drunk, and I figure you would love. Like I get now, like you want to go home, do your podcast. If you went to a game, it would almost be impossible for you to do a podcast because you would get shit faced. But I think you would really love it now. And it boggles my mind you haven't gone since you were a fucking, 28, 25-year-old then? I don't know what's like in 98?
Too old to do the math now at this point, and apparently
Yeah,
drunk too.
98. Yeah, 98. Like I'm just shocked. I feel like you missed out, to be honest with you. And I think that's part of your underlining. And I think there's a part of you that's a little bit jealous. I think, and that you're jealous that people feel this way in a way, and you don't. And I understand your logic, but I think you're like, I wish maybe like subconsciously, you wish you could feel that way. So I don't know.
The honest answer in terms of the football, I just don't like going to games. I like watching them at home.
But you haven't gone to a
bar
game.
Or
you
with
haven't
a friend.
You haven't gone to a game in 30 years. 30. Yeah. I could see you. Can you imagine?
I've went to a couple games. I didn't stay for them though, and I did cover, like I told you on last week's show.
The covering doesn't count.
Well, it was early 2000s when I was covering the team.
I don't know.
I don't know, but I
imagine. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say I do understand. Again, the element of people. Like I have a friend. I'll say him by name. I have a friend named Brandon who's on Facebook, and I saw his status tonight, and he said, "This one's for you, Dad." Clearly, he used to go to games with his father, and his father is no longer here. So it meant a lot to him in that way. So when it comes to that kind of emotion, I can absolutely understand it. For some people, dad or grandpa or mom or whoever brought them to their first game, and maybe that person's not here anymore, and that was a way going to the stadium, a way to hold on to the memories. I'm not hating on that. I love that. I respect that.
No, I know you're not hating on it. I'm just trying to. I guess I get everything
but
you said
because I'm a drunk. That's why I don't go to the games.
No, you would. No,
you're saying I would like them more because I am a drunk.
Because you're drunk.
But then I wouldn't remember the games. I'd have to come home and fucking DVR them and watch them 3 times.
No, I'm sorry. I feel bad. Like
Dr. Joe's in the office.
Yeah, no, I just feel bad. I just can't believe you'd never like have tried it like once, even if it's like like a finale. And I get now you don't because you have a podcast, but you didn't always have a podcast.
I can still do it. You know what? Joe Miller from Overreaction has season tickets. Rock Power Report, Drew and Chris go to all. They got season tickets. They go to all the games.
No, you wouldn't be able to.
But you know what?
But you get
Rock
shit
Pile because they don't do a show on Sunday. That's right. So they don't even count. But Overreaction, Joe Miller. In fact, he's live right now, probably with Fina or whoever. Well, he's doing a live show with somebody. He goes to all the games, so that's not even a good excuse.
I'll say this too. Like we shared our memories on there, and there was like so much things. Yes, a diving pickle. I will be your therapist. I need money, so just Venmo me. I'm gonna put a Venmo thing coming up soon because I need money. So y'all can like send me money for my house.
Instead of Joe from Queens on the moniker, I'll just put your Venmo handle.
Yeah, I think you should do that. Actually, I need to figure that fucking out. Why not? But yeah, we were freestyling memories, and there was like memories I forgot that I had, like I went to a game once, by the way, like where we left the door of our car wide open for like for the entire game, and no one robbed. Like I'm talking like it was. I know I'm going off topic a little bit. But we're talking about the stadium thing, but it was 1998, and it was like the first game we all went to. I went to like as a kind of an adult. Whereas before I was like 15, 14, I'm 18, close to 19. It was the Bills Jets, 98. Like the division was kind of on the line. If the Jets won, they won the division. If the Bills won, the Bills were kind of in the driver's seat. And pun intended, we left the door to my cousin borrowed his mom's Expedition and left the door wide open for the entire first half. And we came back and we saw it and we were like, oh my God, the door is open to this car. And then no one stole anything. But the funny thing was, when we drove off, we were in traffic, like in the parking lot. And the story like popped in my head. All of a sudden, I'm looking down and I see a Mercedes and Thurman Thomas is in the car. and Thurman's in his car, and he's like slouching down, like he doesn't want anyone to. And the Bills lost that game. The Bills lost 17-10. It was a bullshit game. There was a play in that game that it was an interception that it shouldn't have been, and it was crap. And the Bills lost, and the Jets won the Super Bowl. So he was obviously pissed off. And I remember just looking down, we're like, "Oh shit, it's Thurman!" And he's like hiding. And I remember like this girl came up to the car to knock on the door to get an autograph, and he was like, "No," like that. Like he was pissed off. He was like, "No, no autograph." And then like someone like security came and like got him out of there in terms of out of his car. I don't know. It was a funny memory I had in terms of doing that. But anyways, go ahead.
Let me get to I was going to say we're going to wrap up here. I do want to get to a couple comments that I had bookmarked, kind of random. This is not accurate. Steven said, "Can't believe Bills are 5.5-point favorites versus Jags right now. We'll go down to 2 by game time." I think I saw on FanDuel, I took a quick gander, or DraftKings, it's 1.5. Bills are -1.5 right now as we record this, I believe. That sounds about right, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say so.
The Bills should be favored. Matt Moran's been saying it for weeks now. He thinks the Bills will be favored anywhere, anytime, as long as they're in the playoffs, at least the AFC playoffs anyway. So we'll see. Let's see. Steve Noble. I highly doubt the new stadium will ever be called the Terry. All right, well, that's funny. Let me ask you this question, Joe. So you have the Ralph. You have a Rich Stadium. You have the Ralph. It's just been Highmark now. Going across the street, what is there going to be a nickname for this stadium? Is it just going to still be Highmark Stadium? I mean, it's got to be something different, right? Or is this old one going to end up being something different? What's this new stadium going to be?
I don't know how. First off, I hate the name Highmark. It sucks. Like it's like it's weird. It's an insurance company. Like I really like New Era Field. I thought that was kind of had a nice ring to it. It made sense. I like New Era hats. I mean, you probably have New Era hats, I think, unless you probably have fucking flea market hats.
Isn't it? Dude, I do not have flea market hats, although there's nothing wrong with flea market hats. But
I used to go to the flea market.
There's one thing I have is hats.
The Walden,
I got like about 50 hats.
Let me tell you, I used to go to the Walden flea market on Walden. Did you ever go to that flea market on Walden? Oh my God. I bought fake Oakleys there all the time. I bought a switchblade, which I never used. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I was like 15. That was the place to go. When I turned 16, we were going there getting fake FUBU, fake fucking everything. I had fake Oakleys. Those Oakleys sucked. Like within a month they would fade out and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, they're done." Anyways, yeah, I don't know. I would say, yeah, Partham's calling it. He says, "Can we call it the Pit?" Yeah, the Pit, I think, is a good name. Like, why not? Because it used to be called the Pit. You could call it that. But I think it's going to take time. But look, I don't know how long the Highmark like thing is supposed to last for. I'm not a fan of it. Like I said, I told you the name. I Labatt Blue Coliseum, Blue Stadium, I think would be cool. Sure. I always had a wish that I wish Marvel would like buy the stadium rights and they would call it the Marvel Coliseum. Like, how cool would that be?
It would. I'll tell you what. I don't want anything to hit the name Terry Pagula.
No.
Like, don't call it the Peg or anything like that.
No,
not at all. Let me get to a couple other comments here. Orville 716. Lots of crazy Buffalo media behavior this week. Was waiting to sound the alarm, the hot take alarm, on a Harrington Graham confrontation in the press box, which never happened. I don't know if he means like.
Well, Harrington was at Harrington. Well, Harrington covered the game today. He covered the Bills game. He wanted to go to it, so he covered. I don't know if you saw that on Twitter. He was at the game covering.
Oh, I did not see any of that.
Yeah, so he was.
Those
he
guys,
was there.
I mean, it's not a secret. Those guys hate each
but
other.
they were
very vocal about it. Mike just silently hates Tim back.
Yeah, it's funny. I talked to a friend of mine, and he was. Like I said, like some of the stuff, like I like from media about the stadium was a little over the top. And my friend was like texting me like he's a Buffalo expat living in Florida and he loves the Bills. He's like, it was a little ridiculous at times from the media, and I'm like, yeah, there's some, whatever. Look at me stuff, but hey, I get it. Like they want to, they. I don't know. The stadium is I don't know how I understand everyone's feelings about it. Not to go back to it. I understand if you have season tickets. I went to 29 games between from 1990 to today. I went to 29 games, which is what, like an average, not one a year, but a decent amount. I have some good memories.
Hmm?
But as you said, it's moving next door. So those are going to be new memories to come. And it was a nice, it was nice to go through it. It's done now.
Players were emotional too, Joe.
Absolutely. I mean, they were very emotional. I get it. Like, it's football means I just popped in my head a little bit about HSBC Arena or KeyBank, whatever the fuck the stadium is called. The Sabres have played there for almost 30 years. Can you believe that? They've been there for 30 years. If they move next door or like down the block in like they get a new stadium, they're moving down the block. Sabres fans going to be very emotional about it? Probably not. And that's 30 years they've been there. You're talking about the Odd. The Sabres were the big team at the Odd. They played at the Odd, I think, for 25 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just different because I mention all this because it's just football is different in that. Football runs everything. It does.
Oh, no question about it.
It just does, and it's weird at times. It's glorious. It's weird at times, and as I've gotten older, I've let people like kind of live through their thing. I don't try to like maybe this is like that old thing about becoming a father, and you're like, oh, I'm going to take it back a notch and let people live, and that's
sure.
That's kind of it, I don't know.
I couldn't agree more. And like I said, for me, and there's been a lot of varying emotions or reactions to other people's emotions, as to say on social media. Some of them are fair, and some of them are just over the top. It is what it is. Anyway, let me get to a couple more here, and then we're going to bounce. Pat, you have way too many eggs in the Trey White basket. Well, I'm going to have even more in there now, Max Harrison, because it's either Trey White or Dane Jackson at this point.
Is Trey White the guy? Oh, sorry to interrupt because this just popped in my apologies. Is Trey White the one player, if you think about this year from the start, that you've done a 180 on the most?
Yes.
Think about I would agree. Is there a 180 the other way around in terms of like, I thought the most of him, and he's
Josh Palmer.
So Trey White, Palmer.
Yeah, Trey White has been. We'll have our end of the season when it's over, hopefully in a month. But, we'll have our end of the season awards. But early candidate for most pleasant surprise, I think it's got to be Trey White. Yeah. And I would say early candidate for the most disappointing player. If it's not Keon Coleman, it's probably Keon Coleman, actually. But if it's not Keon Coleman, it would be Josh Palmer. Actually, it would be Keon Coleman and then Josh Palmer,
Terrell Bernard's up there.
Yeah. Terrell Bernard for sure. Shaq Thompson, pleasant surprise. I just expected he was going to be a camp body who maybe lingered around the roster.
I would say it's a surprise a little bit. I mean, not by much, but like
not by much. But Joey Bosa's earned his money. That's for sure. But yeah, probably off the top of my head, Trey White's been my biggest surprise. Trey White's been good this year. He's going to have to be good because Jacksonville's got good receivers. Somebody earlier in the comments, and I don't have it in front of me, so I'm not going to go digging through, literally hundreds of comments throughout this show. But somebody said Max Harrison being out is really scary for the Bills because Brian Thomas Jr. is a burner for the Jaguars, and one thing Trey can't do is run like that. But he makes up for it with just technique and intelligence. Plus, again, only one of those guys are going to play, and I guarantee you, Sean's going to go with the guy that he trusts.
I mentioned that earlier, like the Harrison loss is going to be because Jacksonville does have burners. You obviously weren't listening to me because you were looking at the comments.
I might have tuned you out.
No, you tuned you out. You were looking at the comments like you always do. You love to look at the comments, see what people are saying about your weight and your hair.
Speaking of, Diamond Pickle said, Pat, how's the diet going or does it start tomorrow? It legitimately starts Monday. All right, folks, I'm telling you this right now. I went out this weekend, Joe, so I worked Friday night, and I went to Wegmans at like 11:30 at night, and I bought chicken breasts, family pack size. I bought breakfast sausage, turkey breakfast sausage, because I've been eating 2 bagels for breakfast every morning, plus all kinds of other carbs, if not candy bars. It's been my breakfast. And then for lunch, I get like Italian sausage, hot sausage, and I eat it without bread. And then chicken for dinner. And no more pop. That's my goal. Like, I got pop in this glass, which is just about empty, starting on Monday. No pop, 10,000 steps a day, and a lot less calories and a lot less carbs and almost no sugars. I'm going to be skinny Pat by the spring. Right now I'm fat Pat, and I'm really tired of it. Let me be honest with you. You ever get to a point, have you ever been in your life, this is for everyone out there listening, fat to the point where, and maybe you're not, you think you're fat and someone else don't look at you and be like, oh my God, this person's fat, but you feel fat to the point where whatever your wardrobe is, you can't wear it anymore. Like you've outgrown it. Like I got a whole closet. You know me, I'm hoodie guy. I got 40, 50 hoodies, right? I'll wear any of them on my show because I'm just standing in front of the camera with the camera 3 feet away from me right now. But like going out to meet friends, do things, I got like 2 or 3 hoodies that I'll wear because all the other ones are too tight on me right now. And I look like I'm 8.5 months pregnant. I got a couple that, sit over me well enough that I can get away with. They're the only hoodies I've been wearing for like the last 2 months. I've just been on an eating binge and no exercise.
Yeah.
A lot of Christmas tree cakes.
My kid starts daycare tomorrow. So he's going to be there, 8 to 6. And I plan on definitely hitting the gym and gotta lose some weight.
Oh, I can.
Yeah.
I'm going to walk. I'm going to get my steps in, and then I got to go tanning too because I'm too pale.
Tanning? No, man. That's not good for you.
I'm going to fake tan. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to the people here. It's
funny.
Okay,
all right.
I could smell people saying, what the fuck? Who cares? Who cares? Well, you know what? At least we waited till
we're 95 minutes in. I'm ready to get out of here.
Last question, though. I do have one more. I do have one more. This is a good one. We didn't talk about this.
Okay.
Sean McDermott, this is not accurate completely, though, but Mass 9504 said McDermott is 0-6 in road playoff games. That's all we need to know here. Why should we believe he will win one? Well, they're 0-5 in road playoff games, but still, the point is well taken. The Bills have never won on the road in the playoffs under Sean McDermott. How much of a factor do you consider that going into this game? Or is that just one of those things where, you know what, like, that's the past? You know what I mean? There's different reasons. They could have won. I mean, 3 of those, you said this last week. They lost 2 close games for sure to the Chiefs on the road. They lost to Houston in overtime in 2019.
If they lose, it's going to be a talking point big time going forward. Because all those games have been like, aside from like the first 2, which again, the Bills were different from that Jacksonville, the first Jacksonville, the second, the first Houston. Like it's been different. It's the Chiefs that have been like stomping them in the playoffs for the most part. But
right.
I don't feel of it being. It will be a talking point to me afterwards. But Josh Allen's 0 for 4 too, but they haven't had that many opportunities on the road. I think if anything, I'd like to know a coach at the caliber of Sean McDermott who has had such a bad playoff road record. You know what I mean? Like in terms of like, but again, like how many, like Bill Belichick, like how many times did he play coach on the road? He didn't coach on the road all that often. You know, I mean, he did a few times, but a lot of them were like the Patriots always had home field. You know, and Kansas City, like I think Andy Reid has coached on the road like maybe twice with the Chiefs. I think it was the one year they beat the Bills, and then they won against Baltimore. That was it. Sometimes it's just the numbers are if you're at home, but something's got to give. Like you can't go 0-6 after next week. That would be a tough thing to have done.
All right, we want to. People are going to get mad at me for even bringing this up because I'm bringing bad juju into everybody's lives. But let's end the podcast. I got to ask you this because the next time you and I talk, we're going to be doing a live post-game show, a live playoff post-game show.
You're going to have me on Friday.
No,
I know.
I'm not going to have you on Friday. I'm definitely
because no one wants
on Friday.
Okay, Thursday you're going to have me on.
No, I'm not going to have you on.
Tone Pucks. No, Tone Pucks is going to get drunk.
Tone Pucks is Wednesday and the Thursday. No Joe from Queens until the next live post-game show. But on a serious note, let me ask you this. If the Bills go out on Sunday and they lose to Jacksonville, let's say they lose by 2 scores. Let's say they lose by 10 or 14 points right now. Season ends 12-5 with the wild card round, road loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars. What do you think should happen the following week at One Bills Drive? Could
fire everyone? No, I'm just kidding.
If Sean McDermott is 0-6 on the road, I thought he was 0-5, but maybe he is 0-6.
No, he's 0-5, dude. 0-5.
Well, let's say he goes 0-6. He still is winless on the road. The whole Brandon Beane, and let's say the offense don't look good, and not getting a receiver killed them, or not getting a defensive lineman, before the trade deadline, whatever it may be, Brandon Beane, or even worse, if freaking Trey White or Benford go down and they're stuck with Dane Jackson because he got rid of Ingram. You get what I'm saying here. If the Bills lose and say it's an ugly loss next week, do you feel like big changes could come at One Bills Drive? That's how we'll end this show.
I think they're going to lose both their coordinators. That's what I think will happen. I think Babbage and Brady will be gone. They could be gone anyway, but if they make a run, maybe they'll stay. I see them going. I cannot see them. Maybe Maybe Beane, but I'm telling you this. The only way Beane is leaving is if Sean McDermott doesn't like him anymore. And we've talked about this. There's been rumblings throughout the last year and change about them. That's the only thing I can see happening. But it's gonna be more outside stuff for that to happen than what happens next Sunday, if that makes sense. Like it's gonna be more inside the issues stemming from past stuff between them than anything. And and again, Pagula, we haven't seen Pagula. Well, we had. I mean, he fired Rex like 2 years in. He was done with him. But it's been a while, like in terms of Pagula. But I don't think the only way I think that's happening is if Sean McDermott walks in that room and goes, "This can't be the GM anymore," and that's the only way that will happen. That's it.
I almost think it's got to be more than that. I almost think it has to be Josh Allen who goes to Terry Pagula and says, "Got to do."
I don't think Josh is doing that. I don't think. I mean, Josh will. I think Josh will say we need more like these other guys. He doesn't have him in that model, but I think it's going to be up to Sean McDermott. Sean McDermott, I still think the pecking order is Sean. It's Terry, it's Sean, and then whatever the rest.
Got a couple Jacksonville Jaguar fans coming in, Duval coming in there at the end of the show. Hey, it'll be a fun week, man. I think Jacksonville does have some fans, so
well, we'll see. I'm trying to remember. Goes. I'm trying to remember what happened with Bills Jags in 2017. Like, were there a lot of people? Like, they weren't. The Bills weren't as. I'm trying to remember if there were a lot of people in Jacksonville.
There were.
If there were.
Didn't
they burn the parking lot?
It didn't matter, of course, but.
They burned the parking lot down, I think, the Bills or something.
There was a big party, before. I don't remember. I can't remember, man. But I do know that there were a lot of Bills fans in Jacksonville. And the one thing you said it on Friday's show, when we'll end with this, it's going to be still a Jaguars home crowd. There's going to be more Jaguar fans there than Bills fans. Bills ain't coming to take a stadium over in the playoffs. But I will say there will be way more Bills fans in Jacksonville than there would have been in Baltimore, in Pittsburgh, or in Foxborough, for sure. And by the way, as we're signing off here, God, I wish it's just too much time. If there was less time, I would say let's just roll it to the end, but we can't. Pittsburgh's up by 3 right now in the fourth quarter with 10 minutes left.
Wow. Well, good for them, I guess. I mean, hold on.
Derrick Henry's at 123 yards, so he needs exactly 30 yards in this fourth quarter.
Okay, well, hopefully he doesn't get that because, just FYI, I want you to take a wild guess.
Mm-hmm.
What is the get-in price to this Bills Jags wire game on StubHub? Give me for one ticket. Give me what do you think is the get-in price?
200. I have no idea.
265. I have a 242, 229. The cheapest ticket is 229 for that Jacksonville Bills.
Dude, for Bills Mafia, that's nothing. Not that Bills Mafia people are rich, but they don't care about anything else except going into these games. There's a lot of people right now. There's a lot of people right now figuring out how the fuck they're going to get to Jacksonville. Which, by the way,
that's a hard flight.
It's 1,000 miles from Orchard Park. I looked it up actually while we were talking. That's probably what I tuned you out earlier about your takes. It's about a 15 from Buffalo. It's about a 15 and a half hour drive, and it's about 1,000 miles. I used to live about 4 hours away from there, down south.
I just want to know if there's flights that go from Buffalo to Jacksonville.
Yeah, but you're spending a lot. If you get a flight that week, you're going to spend a lot of money. It's tough to get decent priced flights on only 4 days, 5 days notice too. So there'll be a lot of people driving, man. There's going to be a lot of 15-hour, 16-hour rides down to Florida. Diamond Pickle said any flight to Florida is easy. It's not true, my guy. I lived there, and I was trying to get flights a lot of times, man, and it can be hard. 95 South, yeah. Take that shit all the way from Ohio down to Florida. Anyway, all right. Anything else? Otherwise, we're going to get out of here. We've been going for a long time. Fucking almost an hour and 45 minutes here.
I'm just seeing if there's flights that go from Buffalo to Jacksonville on Expedia. Okay, so right now, $600, if you want to go down there, $628 on Friday.
Bill's Elvis has probably already got that booked.
Oh, I forgot to tell you a Bill's Elvis story. Wow, it's not. Oh man, they're not even direct. They're like one stop. Man, fuck that. That's terrible. Those are the worst.
That's
all right. Anyways, okay, let's get out of here.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody. By the way, man, over almost 1,400 on the live, so appreciate
Well, we
everybody
talked
there.
for like 2 hours. Of course, a lot of people are coming on here.
I was really trying to stall and hope this last game would, this Pittsburgh game would go quicker, but it's not. There's still a full quarter left. Probably going to wake up on Monday with Derrick Henry winning the rushing title, which, by the way, if he wins it by like 10, 15 yards, it's going to be unfair, but there's going to be a lot of Bills fans that are not happy with Sean McDermott, I predict, on Monday. Because if Derrick Henry wins it by, say, 20 yards or less, they care. James Cook cares. He was very open about it.
Where was he open about? I didn't hear any.
He was.
Don't lie. Okay,
he was.
Whatever.
Just trust me. I know this.
Okay, he can become we'll get him next year, Tiger. What are they winning? A title? What do you win? A fucking trophy or a fucking plaque? What do you win?
Pride, man. Probably got incentive in the contract too to win a rushing title. But anyway, all right, that's going to do it for this show. Thank you, everybody, for watching, for listening. Brand new show coming up. I don't know who it's going to be, but brand new show with a guest coming up tomorrow. Take care, guys.